Welcome to Design Sprint. In the 50-day challenge, we'll be diving into the exciting world of web development by completing 50 projects that will help you master HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Whether you're an absolute beginner or looking to level up your skills, this challenge is the perfect way to learn and practice web development. Through the challenge, we will be taking a hands-on approach to help you build your skills. So if you're ready to take your web development skills to the next level, come join us to the exciting journey. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. This would help me build more content and keep you guys engaged. Welcome to day 2 of the 50-day challenge. I'm going to make progress step counter. There will be 4 circles with 2 buttons, next and previous. With next is click, it will progress. We have Visual Studio Code with live server extension installed. So whenever we make changes to the code, it will reflect instantly. We have created a folder named progress steps in which I will create 3 files starting off with index.html. Now I'm gonna create style.css. Okay, so there has been a problem, style.css. Now I'm gonna create another file, that is the Java file. So in that same folder I have to create so that I can link it, java.js. Now in the index file, whenever I make changes, I left click and open live server so that you can see whenever I do any changes on this file, it would reflect on this. So now I'm gonna go do shift and exclamation, then press enter, and it would give me the complete details. Now I would go ahead and close this so you guys can see the code better. Now I'm gonna go ahead and change the title and rename the title to progress steps. Now I'm gonna link the style sheet. That's gonna be link rel relationship would be style sheet. Let's do style sheet, and then I would be hrefing it to styles.css, so it would be pointing to the CSS file. Now close this. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and also add the script tag. So it needs to be added at the bottom, so everything is loaded, and after that the script tab works. So script source equals to java.js, and I will close this. Okay, done with the script tag. Now what I'm gonna do is as this is gonna be 3 things, so I'm gonna go ahead and create a container. So the container should have 6 things inside. So I would create 6 divs. So at first I would go ahead and create the container. Sorry about that. So first container is this container would contain all the things. So inside that I would have 1, 2, 3, 4 circles and 2 buttons below it. So all the circles will have a border, and it would point, whenever I click on next, it would point to the next circle, so on. So now I'm gonna go ahead and create a div class that is gonna be the progress container. Just 1 minute. Progress container. Okay, and I would close it. So inside that progress container I would have another div class which would be the progress. And in that I would have also make this an ID, give it an ID as progress Now I'm gonna go ahead and close the div, and inside I don't need anything, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete. This is just the progress one. Now on second, I'm gonna create the circles now. So zip class circle, I would be creating this would be the first class, so it should be active always. So it should be class circle space active and 1. Now I'm gonna copy this complete thing and paste it 3 more times. 1 2. Okay, sorry, need to go to the end of this. 3 4. Okay, done. Now as this is going to be 2 3 4. Okay, so now as these are going to be normal circles, that's I'm going to remove the active part, as these would be active once I click on them, not beforehand. Now I'm going to go ahead and create 2 buttons with button class btn, and would give them an ID so that I can use them in my JavaScript. It would be prev, so it would be disabled from the beginning, so that whenever I don't click on it, and whenever I click on next, it would be again enabled. So in JavaScript I would make the changes, creating the second button, next button. Okay, ID would be next, and next, next. Done. So now this is complete. I'm going to go ahead and save this, and once I have saved it, I'm going to go ahead and refresh this, and voila, you can see that it works. Okay, now I'm gonna style the complete details. So at first I would go ahead and root out. So this is when I'm gonna go ahead and create a root, which would I can point it as a variable for every time I use a background color. So I'm gonna do the style sheet root. Okay, fill would be the color, line border empty, another color, okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do star. That would be box sizing, border box, and then the body, starting the body off by the background color. So background color, I'm gonna choose one of the colors here. Okay, choosing this. Now this would be display flex, then align the items in the center, justify content, that's to center, height would be 100 VH. Now the overflow would be hidden, so overflow hidden, margin would be 0. Next I'm gonna go for the container, text align inside the container I would be using, so it would be center. Done with the container. Now progress container, it would be okay, so this would be display flex, justify content, space between I would be using, so space between, position relative, margin 50 px I would be using, bottom margin, and max width, that would be 100%, and width of the complete would be 400 pixel. Done. Now I'm gonna go with progress container before. Okay, before selected. Now I'm going to use content, and okay, now I'm going to use background color. Now here I would use the variable that I have defined previously. So this is the one, empty, position absolute, then top 50%, left 0, transform, translate y, that would be minus 50%, then height would be 4 pixels and width would be 100%. Here I would be using the z index as -1. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and scroll down so it would be better. Now I would be using .progress. Again I would be using the background color variable. Now the fill I would be using here, position would be absolute, top would be 50%, left would be, I'm gonna use now left, that would be 0, transform, translate y, minus 50%, height 4 pixels, width I'm gonna use 0%, and again z index as -1. Now transition 0.4 ease. Okay, now I'm gonna save it. You can see the changes. This is how it looks. Let's do it better, as I'm gonna do the circles now. .circle, background color, I'm gonna choose any one of them. Okay, and color, I'm gonna choose another one, and then border radius, give it a radius of 60%, and then I'm gonna go with height, that would be 30 pixels. Again display would be flex. Now I'm gonna go ahead and align items, that would be center, justify content would be center, border I would be giving it as 3 pixels, solid variable. Now I'm gonna use again empty, then we would be going with transition 0.4 ease, .circle active one I would be using now. The border color for this would be variable fill. Now I'm gonna do button, the buttons that are white right now. So background color would be variable line border fill, same as the fills above. Color would be choosing any one of them. Border radius 6 pixels, cursor would be pointer, padding I would be using 8 pixels and 30 pixels, sorry about that, pixels here. Okay, now the button when active would transform, so button dot active, then transform, I would scale it 0.98. Okay, now when the button is on focus it should give an outline 0, so button focus outline 0. Now button when disabled, dot button disabled, the background color would be similar to the empty one, so var line border empty, cursor would not be allowed. Save, and it should look like this. The colors are a bit different, so I'm gonna go ahead and make changes. Let's see which one looks better. Okay, this looks better. Background, let's make the changes. This is darker. Okay, so the next won't work because I need to work on the JavaScript, so let's do the JavaScript. So now I'm going to go ahead and take constants. So I'm going to go ahead and take constant progress. That would be document.getElement by id. So all the progress I'm selecting, and another constant I'm taking, that is previous. That would be document get element by id, the previous button. So another constant, that would be next, document dot get element by id, the next button. Now the next one is constant circles. This I would be using as query selector, so all the circles would be mentioned, so it would be dot circles, to remember that. Now let current active be 1, so the first active would be the 1. Okay, now next add event listener click. So whenever I make the click, it would go ahead and register, and this function would run. So I'm making a function over whenever I click, the current active would be plus plus, that it would be going to the next one. So if current active is, I'm gonna make this if, okay, now current active greater than circle's length, so the circle length would be there. Now I'm going to go ahead and create current active equals to circle dot length and update. Do the same thing and copy paste for the previous one, but over here I would do is, it would be minus minus, and it would be equal greater than 1 and equals to 1, and update the same thing. Now I have to create the function update, so I'm creating it here. Circles for each circle, so forever each circle the idx I would be taking, that would be if idx greater than current active, then the circle class I would go ahead and add active in the class, or else I would go ahead and remove the active class. So this is what the function update would do. Now I'm going to go ahead and create constant active, in which it would be document dot query selector all. Now it would be dot active, remember that. Now progress dot style dot width equals to active dot length minus 1 divided by circles dot length minus 1 into 100 plus percentage. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and click if current active equals to 1, then previous will be disabled, so true. Else if current active equals to circles dot length, so whenever the length would be reached, the next would be disabled, so next dot disabled equals to true. Now else both disabled would be false, so previous dot disabled equals to false, next dot disabled equals to false. I hope this works. Okay, the buttons are working. I'm not sure what happened, just 1 minute. Okay, got it. I used as active and not actives, remember this, it needs to be active, so it's working now. That's great, thank you.